Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the SMA Victor Podcast. I am your host, Victor, aka Victortheinspiration. And I came across this post by MDA.org. Let's get right into it, where it says breaking advocacy news. Let's get right into it. Today we will be utilizing ChatGPT as our co-host. ChatGPT, can you give a brief, quick introduction?
Thanks, Victor. I'm excited to join you today. I'm ChatGPT, and I'm here to help us unpack complex topics, offer insights, and keep the conversation flowing. Let's dive into this advocacy update together.
So this is by a post from an Instagram page by MDA.org, where it says, breaking news, the U.S. Senate passed legislation that advances top priorities for the neuromuscular disease community, including strong medical research funding for the National Institutes of Health and across the federal government. The bill also supports children living with neuromuscular diseases and their families by including the Accelerating Kids Access to Care Act and the reauthorizing the Rare Pediatric Disease Priority Review Voucher Program. The next step for the bill is to go back to the United States House of Representatives for final passage. So I brought up here in front of me, I looked into it by Google. So we can break it down a little bit more to understand what this is. I came across this post and I put it to the side so we can make a video talking about it. And the reason how this is relevant to the SMA community in particular is because SMA is a neuromuscular condition. Now, MDA is an organization which is abbreviated for Muscular Dystrophy Association, which is a phenomenal organization that is a huge advocate for the neuromuscular community and for the muscular dystrophy organization. And muscular dystrophy and spinal muscular atrophy are different. However, they are both similar to the extent of it being a neuromuscular condition. So this significantly benefits the SMA community, which is why I put it to the side. So it says here in front of me, it says on January 30th, 2026, the United States Senate passed a bipartisan funding package advancing key neuromuscular disease priorities, including robust NIH research funding, reauthorization of the Rare Pediatric Disease Priority Review Voucher, which is parentheses PRV parentheses program, and the Accelerating Kids Access to Care Act. The bill now heads back to the House for final passage before potentially going to the president. This is exciting news. So ChatGPT, can you please break this down for myself and for the audience, including and myself and the audience here listening, and kind of explain how this benefits the SMA community?
Absolutely. In a nutshell, this legislation boosts funding for medical research through the National Institutes of Health. That means more resources for understanding and treating neuromuscular diseases, SMA included. The bill also supports children and families by improving access to specialized care. Think faster pathways to essential treatments. The Rare Pediatric Disease Voucher Program incentivizes developing therapies for rare conditions like SMA. In short, it means more research, quicker access to care, and potentially faster development of life-changing treatments for the SMA community. So this is a huge deal for advancing care and hope.
This is extraordinary. So it says key provisions. The legislation supports children with neuromuscular diseases by reducing barriers to care via the Accelerating Kids Access to Care Act. And it says research and programs. It secures funding for NIH and reauthorizes the critical PRV program for 5 years. That's really, really big news. And it says next steps. The bill is expected to pass the House for final narrow approval. And it says advocacy. The Muscular Dystrophy Association, MDA, has championed these policies to improve care and treatment access. So ChatGPT, how can those listening support MDA and the SMA community? How can they, say, be part of this?
Supporting MDA and the SMA community can take many forms. First, you can get involved in advocacy efforts, sign petitions, reach out to representatives, or amplify awareness campaigns on social media. Second, consider donating or fundraising for MDA to support research and family programs. Third, participate in MDA events like walks or awareness days to show solidarity. And finally, educate others. Sharing accurate info helps break down misconceptions. Every bit of engagement helps push forward care, treatments, and hope.
Definitely. And I wanted to mention that as well is MDA, a great organization. Definitely look into MDA and see how you can support the Muscular Dystrophy Association and support the SMA community, because MDA is a huge advocate for SMA as well. And definitely look into their organization, which is mda.org, which is abbreviated for Muscular Dystrophy Association. And another favorite of mine is Cure SMA, which is another phenomenal nonprofit organization. It's a great organization, by far one of my favorites. And so ChatGPT, before we close out today's episode, is what can we expect from all of this? Because it's still in the process. Am I right?
You've got it right. This is still a process. What we can expect next is that the bill needs final approval in the House. If it passes, it will head to the president's desk. Once signed into law, we'll see more funding flowing into research and programs. Over time, that means expanded clinical trials, new treatments, and better access to care for conditions like SMA. So the impact unfolds step by step, but it's a hopeful path toward more support for the community.
And this is one of the biggest reasons why I started the SMA Victor podcast.
And it shows. Your podcast gives people real, actionable updates and a space where advocacy feels personal. By breaking down what's happening and connecting it back to the SMA community, you're empowering others to stay informed and involved. Keep that momentum going. It's how change happens.
And I wanted to mention that one of the reasons why I started this whole YouTube channel, the SMA Victor, is because I wanted to spread awareness for the SMA community. I personally have SMA type 2, so to be an individual who has SMA and who genuinely understands the medical condition, and to also be part of advocacy and also be part of spreading awareness, is very crucial and huge to me. So one of the reasons why I started SMA, this YouTube channel, the SMA Victor YouTube channel, and eventually it led into this podcast, is because I want to spread awareness, because the more awareness we bring, the more funding it brings, and the more funding means much more research to create even more medical treatment breakthroughs within the SMA community. So to have this bill try to pass, and if it really does pass and it really does come to fruition and everything happens the way that we are hoping, especially within the MD community and SMA community, is it's going to advance more funding, and more funding is going to advance much more research, which more research means much more medical treatment breakthroughs. If I can be able to experience, even for an hour, what it is like to lift up my two hands by myself, would be extraordinary in my eyes. And I want you to really sit and think about, to have that ability to literally be able to move, to have that mobility to move freely, is huge, right? So to be able to not being able to do those things, to being able to even come close to doing those things would be extraordinary. And funding is one way we can create those opportunities. My name is Victor, aka Victortheinspiration, and I also want to pop this up in front of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode first off. And I want to throw this up, QR code in front of you guys. I just became a published author on January 16th, 2026. And this is my book, Become the Victor, Turning Trials into Triumph. And it is my personal journey navigating life with SMA. And I talk about the mental, emotional, physical, even spiritual aspects that go on behind the scenes. And I help navigate, I help walk you through not so much what it was I have been going through or what it is I go through, but also how I develop the resiliency that I do. I am very vulnerable in this book. It is by far one of my greatest pieces I've ever done. And you can grab it. It is only available online at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. You can simply look up Become the Victor, Turning Trials into Triumph, or to keep it simple, you can scan the QR code that is right here in front of your screen. Or if you have a Android or iPhone, you can take a screenshot and you can click the QR code to whichever one you're interested in and go through there. Or you can simply go onto Barnes & Noble and Amazon website and simply search Victor the Inspiration, and you will see my book. This is the book. It's by far one of the greatest things I have ever released. Again, it's very raw. It's a very emotional journey, and this book definitely will help you whether you have a disability or not. I promise you, this book is genuinely written just for you. This book, when I say is meant for everybody, it is genuinely meant for everybody. And I wrote it in a way for the fact that I want it accessible for all. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Again, my name is Victor, aka Victor the Inspiration. I am your host. And if you are new to the channel, thank you so much as well for getting me to 100 subscribers on this YouTube channel. If you have been keeping up with my content for a while, you know I have been trying extremely hard to get to 100 subscribers, and we finally reached that milestone. So to reach that milestone is an extraordinary milestone, an achievement to reach. It's been quite the journey, and I am so appreciative to have you all a part of it. Please share my book with friends and family, social media. Feel free to tag me on social media as well. And I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And as always, remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.